What's going on, my Fly Hippie family? It's your boy Izzy, and today, man, we're gonna take a deep dive into what Stephen A. Smith got going on about LeBron James podcast. Now, first thing first, man, JJ Redick, he got hired as the Lakers coach. Honestly, I don't think that's gonna fix the Lakers winning like anything, right? First off, the Lakers gotta give JJ some time. They need a better team. They're not going to win with that team. Their backcourt needs a little more defense on them and a lot more consistency, right? Because Breeze and D'Angelo, man, they're not consistent, bro. And then on top of that, man, you need to get AD out of the 5, bro. He need to go back to the 4. Y'all need to get a real deal big man down there in the paint so he can get the rebounding and show the toughness. But anyway, Stephen A., man, I don't know, man. He been saying some crazy stuff about LeBron James and JJ Redick's podcast, and it's kind of rubbing me like, I think you're a little jealous, bro. I think you're a little envious. I don't know, man. I don't know what it is, but it ain't a good look for him, man. Well, in the past 3 weeks, I want to show y'all what he been saying, so y'all can kind of see what I'm talking about, okay? Remember, if you like the content, make sure you hit that thumbs up for your boy. Subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to get in the comment section and let me know what y'all think about this, man. Let's get it. All right, so this first clip, right? This is the first thing he said about the podcast, right? So I want y'all to pay attention. Pay attention closer to what he's saying here.
Too much.
Stephen A., let me ask you this. How do you think the players in that locker room outside of LeBron James will respond to a first-time head coach?
Well, it depends on the coach. I think a first-time head coach like Sam Cassell, they'll respond very well. I think an experienced coach like a Mark Jackson or a Jeff Van Gundy, they'll respond very well. I think JJ is a different situation because of the situation LeBron James and his camp created by doing that podcast in the middle of the season, knowing that Darvin Ham was on a hot seat. I don't care what anybody says. That was a very egregious thing to do. I'm not talking about the podcast. Wendy knows I'm not doing this. Wendy knows I'm not doing this. I'm not talking about the podcast itself. I'm talking about the timing. The Lakers get eliminated and then LeBron James and JJ do their podcast. It's no problem. This summer starts, they're doing their podcast. It's no problem. Darvin Ham was on the hot seat. And that's when LeBron James, in the middle of the season, decides to do a podcast with a brilliant cerebral basketball mind, and they're breaking down plays. They're talking plays. They're talking, am I lying, Wendy? They're talking plays. They're talking schemes. They're talking strategies. They're talking all of these things. Say what? You never seen what before, Wendy? Never seen what before?
I've never seen, I mean, this is a new thing I've never done in the NBA, what you're talking about, this podcast. Never seen anything like it.
That's right. And props to them because it was Mavericks Carter. It was Mavericks Carter idea. He brought it to LeBron James, according to what my sources tell me. It wasn't LeBron James, but damn it, LeBron James is his own man. You're wearing a Lakers uniform. You are a player. You know your coach is on the hot seat, and deciding to do a podcast about games, about basketball, with specifics in mind, schemes, and how you coach and how you draw plays up and what you should be doing, how you strategize, et cetera, while your coach is on a hot seat, and you knew the Lakers would more than likely be looking for a coach next season, is one of the most egregious things we have seen a basketball player do to a coach.
I have to ask this.
Now, just to let y'all know, I feel like that podcast had nothing to do with Darvin Ham getting fired, bro. I mean, let's keep it a buck, man. It's times where Darvin Ham showed he was incapable of making great coaching decisions, man. In that play, yeah, did he get the Lakers to the playoffs in both years? Yes, he did. Okay, I will give him that. But it was times where he just I'm like, bro, call a timeout. Bro, you don't want to let the Nuggets get on top here. You don't want to let that happen. Like it's times where I'm really questioning his coaching ability. Right? Do I believe he should have been fired? I don't think he should have been fired. He need more time and he need a better team, honestly. But I'm not about to sit here and say LeBron James and JJ Redick are the reason he was fired. That's absurd, bro. But I want y'all to keep peep his reaction after how Molly and them talked to him. Watch his reaction.
We need to go to break, but I need both of you to respond. Is it fair to characterize that as egregious? Andrea?
Them doing the podcast?
Yeah.
You're talking strategy. You're talking what you would do while another coach is in a hot seat. Like, I understand it, and maybe at the time they didn't think it would even matriculate to anything. I think it's just a basketball analyst talking to a basketball player. I think it looks worse now, but in the moment, I didn't think it was egregious. At the time when it was happening, I didn't think it was.
Maybe I'm naive.
I'm
naive. I never thought that. I thought that this is
never
the NBA, ESPN on the NBA's lead analyst talking to LeBron. I'm not saying that you're wrong, Stephen A. I was just saying
on it, Wendy.
It did not occur to me.
Maybe Stand on it, bro.
It did. Hold on. In fairness to both of you. It didn't occur to me either when I heard about the podcast. Remember, we celebrated the fact that they were starting a podcast. And on First Take, we were looking forward to it.
Yeah.
But then when you watched it and you saw the actual content and you knew that Darvin Ham was on a hot seat, I'm not talking about J.J. Redick. He did nothing wrong. But I'm saying, I'm not talking about Maverick Carter. He did nothing wrong. You're LeBron James. And you're having that kind of conversation knowing your coach is on a hot seat?
But
you don't know how that comes across?
But Stephen A., you might think I'm being naive here, but what if that wasn't the intent at all whatsoever? It was just like an incredible basketball mind and the greatest player in the game getting together for
Molly,
a podcast.
you're cooking.
And then
it
materialized into that. Without the intent of, I'm bringing him on to interview him to potentially be my new head coach.
Cook him, Molly.
Fair question. Here's the answer.
He ain't got one, why did?
So many roads to disaster have been paved with quote-unquote good intentions. We lament that on this show and every other show all the time. We can't sit up. I'm not trying to tell you that I know definitively that LeBron James had malice intent. I'm not accusing him of that. But at some point, if we speak to the brilliance of this man, him as a basketball savant, him recognizing his power, his impact, his influence, etc., one could easily surmise that he wasn't oblivious or clueless to the potential damage and impact it could have. And if that's the case, how do you then turn around and say, well, you know what? He really, really didn't know what was going on, and he really, really didn't imagine this. It's rare that we ever say that LeBron James didn't imagine, didn't foreshadow, didn't foresee anything. So why all of a sudden do we take that position now? That's all I'm saying.
Stephen A., bro. Look. Y'all know I love everybody, man. I rock with everybody. Even if you hate me, bro, I rock with you. You know what I'm saying? I have no malice towards anybody. I just keep it straight. You feel me? Y'all know on this channel, I keep it fair, bro. I got to call out everybody who owns some BS, man. And this is pure BS. Now your take is an assumption. You assuming how he felt. You don't have any facts behind anything you're saying right now, bro. It's like you just spewing rhetoric out of your mouth right now, bro. He's like, look, LeBron is always 10 steps ahead, so why all of a sudden now we assuming that he's not 10 steps ahead? Like, bro, you can't do that, bro. You have no facts backing up what you're saying right now, man. The fact that you sitting here saying that LeBron James ended Darvin Ham's career as a coach as a Lakers coach is, man, that's absurd, man. That's egregious. That's crazy, bro. Okay, y'all saw what he was saying in that first week. That was the first time he ever brought it up. Now see what he's saying this time. Watch this.
Agree with me last week. He made his points. You made your points. I find them to be very valid. I can't definitively sit here and tell you that you're wrong. I'm not trying to. What I can tell you is this. Numerous coaches, black coaches, called me expressing how they took issue with that podcast taking place. And I think you know enough to know that that's true. Some of them felt very salty about that. We certainly are not blaming J.J. Redick. You got your podcast. Maverick Carter approaches you about doing this idea. Who the hell would want to? I jumped at the opportunity.
Wait, can I pause you on that? They were salty because he chose to do a podcast with a white guy, or because it hurt Darvin Ham?
Because it hurt Darvin Ham.
Okay.
Because it hurt Darvin Ham. So any of us would do a podcast with LeBron James. Anybody who says otherwise, that they wouldn't do a podcast with LeBron James, is lying through their damn teeth. I know I would. I know you would. I know Wendy would. I know anybody would. That would be an honor for us because he's one of the greatest who have ever played, and he's a basketball savant.
So now this week he talking about black coaches. Ended up calling them, right? Calling them and pretty much hating on the fact that LeBron got this podcast with JJ Redick, right? You can clearly see that it's about hating and envy, because he said anybody in their right mind would want to have a podcast with LeBron James. It's the last clip. I'm going to play this. So far, he was trying to backpedal and say, it's not just me, it's all these other black coaches and black people that don't like the fact that he said that he had his podcast, right? Now I want y'all to hear what he has to say to Shannon Sharpe, man. I want y'all to hear this, okay?
Having worked here with him at ESPN, but also because, damn it, if he wins, the Lakers are relevant. And if the Lakers are relevant, that's more time in Southern California. Who the hell's going to complain about that? So let's get that out the way. All right? Now, having said all of that, I think it's important, Shannon, that and I want to say this to you, Shannon. You got your platforms. I have mine, but we also have this. And there's a lot of misnomers that get put out there, and there's nothing wrong with using this opportunity to defend ourselves in terms of the accuracy with things that we say. I have no problem. You have no problem being held accountable for what we actually say and do. It's when people make stuff up with their lying, sorry ass selves that it ticks us off. Now, having said all of that, let me be very, very clear to everybody involved. Nobody at this network that I know of is rooting against JJ Redick. Nobody is bringing up race and all of this other stuff. Does Sam Cassell deserve an opportunity? Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean he had to get the Los Angeles Lakers job. We're not holding
Notice he said nobody's bringing up race.
that. JJ Redick and his team was approached by Maverick Carter, and Maverick Carter convinced LeBron James to do all of this. Nobody's throwing any shade on JJ Redick for that. I'm not even throwing shade on LeBron doing it. If you remember correctly, Shay, I was like, yo, we were celebrating the fact that this podcast started. It's when we saw the actual content they had engaged in, knowing Darvin Ham was on the hot seat, that questions propped up. Wait a minute, is this an ideal situation for LeBron James to be in, or to allow yourself to be in, knowing that Darvin Ham is in that situation? Then he loses the job, and the guy you doing the podcast with ends up becoming a leading candidate for the job. I mean, damn. That didn't look good. So
optics are everything, Stephen A.
Optics are everything. And by the way, let me say this for the platform of First Take, even though I said it on the Stephen A. Smith Show, let me repeat it again to let everybody know I didn't stutter, okay? Black coaches called the black commentator to complain about a black superstar doing a podcast while his black head coach was on the hot seat before he ultimately lost the damn job. What does that have to do with white folks? Some things are none of your damn business.
Stephen A., man, like I said, man, I actually watch First Take. I like First Take. And Shannon Sharpe is probably one of my favorite human beings on earth, man. I ain't even gonna hold you. The man, like, Stephen A. went from it's not a race thing to saying it was black this and black this on black this. It's black on black. You clearly are making it a race thing. If it wasn't a race thing, Stephen A., why would you implement that they were black coaches? Why not just say there was multiple coaches? You feel what I'm saying? Like, you can't just be throwing black on there and not thinking that people are going to take it as you're not trying to implement some type of race. And then the fact that you're parading that is black on black crime. These black men were hating on this black man because he got this podcast with this white man. It's crazy, man. Now, I rock with Stephen A., man. Like I said, bro, I can say it again and again and again. I rock with Stephen A. I don't have any malice towards anybody, but when it comes to calling you out, I got to say it, man. I got to call a spade a spade. I don't care about your color. Righteousness does not stop at your color. Wrong is wrong, right is right. And that don't stop at color. That don't stop at the color of my skin. Just because I'm black, I don't have to say you're right all the time, knowing that you're wrong. It's just crazy how he was standing on business. Now, he was standing on business when he first said this about this podcast, right? Y'all saw him. He like, oh my gosh, what are y'all saying? Then the next week, he come into a more, like, I want to pass this off to these imaginary black coaches that was saying this. It wasn't me, but if that was the case, you would have said that the first time. You know what I'm saying? You would have been like, oh, it was coaches calling me, and they felt like this. But you waited till a whole week. I mean, I don't know when that. I feel like that was a week. Because I think he said that on a Friday. I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, man. And then it's just a race thing. And y'all know how y'all getting criticized about always throwing race in there to get views. Y'all know about that already. I mean, so at this point, they might be right. It's a great podcast. I feel like it was helping players who was trying to get to that next level, especially young kids. It was helping them learn the game. It was helping me learn the game more. Like, I ain't know half those terms, and I played basketball before. So it's like, it's just incredible how you can play a sport and not know everything about it like that. You see what I'm saying? So I think that was a great podcast. It was something fresh. It's something different from what everybody else is doing, man. And to say that LeBron James planned this whole thing just to get Darvin up out of there, man, that's crazy work right there, dog. Y'all let me know in the comments what y'all think, man. I love y'all. Y'all take it easy, bro.